Good afternoon, and welcome to our topical special where today's topic is the upcoming Virginia election. I'm your host, Quincy Allen, and joining me today is a member of the Student Senate, Miranda Archibald. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, thank you so much.
All right, now let's get right into the questions. Firstly, you are part of the Student Senate here at Virginia Tech. Now, could you explain to our viewers what your responsibilities are and how it relates to politics both on and off campus?
Yeah, so I'm the Vice President of Inclusive and Strategic Affairs, formerly known as DEI. Everything that I focus on is representing all 32,000 of our students, making sure that they are equitably represented and giving them the resources that they need.
Nice, nice. Now, what are your thoughts, or could you tell me your thoughts on this upcoming voting season? Now, for example, are you more or less inclined to vote, and why do you think that way, and what has shaped those thoughts?
Yeah. I think all of our students that are heavily involved are in our undergraduate student senate know that they need to vote. And a big reason for that is our governor in this upcoming election will decide our Board of Visitors. Our Board of Visitors is at the top of our university governance. They decide everything from tuition hikes to programs that are removed, and especially in the capacity that we're currently operating in, various programs have been removed as a result of our previous governor. And it's stressed the importance of our need to vote. Many of our students are losing resources. They're losing programs. Everything from UGMA to Lavender House has been removed. Pathways for the entirety of our degree, including Pathway 7, has been removed. Language requirements, making it harder for students of rural areas, of lower income areas, and schools that don't have the same resources as higher income areas, will make it harder for Virginia Tech students to come in. And those are all a direct result of our current governor's pick. So I highly encourage everyone to get involved and everyone to vote, because it doesn't just affect you directly, it affects all of us within the state.
Now, speaking of voters, as the election season approaches, what would you say are the traits of a responsible and informed voter?
That's an amazing question. I would say that a responsible and informed voter knows how to do proper research. I think Google can be a little bit scary. There's a lot of misinformation on there. And a lot of our students get involved in ways like Young Democrats, Young Republicans, USS. There's various ways that you can get involved.
Now, how would you describe the political climate to uninformed or centrist voters, those who may be kind of lost on what the political sphere looks like, what people are maybe feeling, what their opinions are, anything related to those matters?
Mm-hmm. I think we can all agree that we are heavily divided right now. And for our centrists who are stuck in the middle, or maybe students that aren't as well educated, going and doing research can be really scary. There's a lot of strong opinions. There's a lot of contention. I think right now what we need is to come together, and voting is extremely important, especially if you want change. We all have our own opinions. We all have our own moral systems and values outside of politics. It's about finding what represents your moral systems and your values within the political sphere of our state. And I think the best way to do the research on that is, one, get informed, read the news. It's all accessible. In many ways, it's all free. Two, get involved with our constituencies on campus. We have various initiatives, which I'm sure we'll get into in a few minutes, but there's a lot of ways that you can get involved. So don't stop yourself. It's 2025, use Google.
Now, speaking of change and initiatives, Student Senate has kind of prided itself on making change on campus and kind of prompting change in different areas of the government. Tell me, what has the Student Senate been doing to ensure Virginia Tech students are prepared for the upcoming election?
Yeah, so we have a lot of initiatives on campus, everything from VA 21 to Hokies Vote Caucus, where we engage students directly through tabling, through working with organizations on campus. We also have advocacy days. So what does that look like? That means we have senators that come and apply to go to all expense paid trip to Richmond. We call it Hokie Day. And you go and you talk to the governor, you talk to various representatives advocating for students' opinions and change. We also have ACC Advocacy Days, where our Assistant of Governmental Relations, Anusha, she helps to plan all of that. We as senators go to DC. We stay there for around 3 to 4 days, and we meet with real policymakers. This means senators, this means people working within the House of Representatives, and we advocate for change based off of what our constituents and our school is looking for.
All right, now what advice do you have for voters who want to be more informed but really don't know where to look? And I know you've already touched on using Google and other search engines, but is there anything else that you could possibly tell these people on where to look and how to stay best informed?
Yeah. I highly encourage everyone to get involved with Hokies Vote Caucus. I highly encourage everyone to get involved with ACC Advocacy Days, Hokie Days, our Senate meetings. We have Senate meetings every Tuesday at 6:30 in Colonial Hall Squires, where every student can come voice their opinion and their needs. We get a lot of people that show up and a lot of opinions that get turned into real policy and real action. And that's something that's pretty easy right here on campus. I also encourage all of our students to get involved with outside groups. We have everything from Black-mindedness to Young Democrats to the list is long. And if you cannot find the list, you can go on Gobbler Connect, and we have all of our organizations there. You can filter it through political action. You can click the links, and you can find what works best for you and your moral system.
Now, speaking of outside ways to be involved, we know that local elections are important, not just national elections. Maybe in places like Roanoke, Christiansburg, or Blacksburg, how can students get more involved in local elections, maybe different committees, town halls, et cetera?
Yeah, so again, I definitely want to reference USS. We as USS are heavily involved in local elections, whether that is through, what is it called, our town council. We have representatives there. If you speak to us, we can represent you and your opinions, because I know not every student has the time to do that. And then, of course, it's just about showing up to town council meetings, town hall meetings, all of which you can find the information online.
I think it's an exciting voting season. You know, students here at Virginia Tech are in a special, sort of place to be voting this year. Virginia is one of only 2 states in the entire country to have a statewide election, and then here in Blacksburg, we have the most competitive House district seat, District 41. It was decided by 183 votes last time, so it's very important that students come out here and vote in Blacksburg.
I feel that this has been one of the most politically polarized voting seasons we've had in a long time.
I try to be politically aware, less so now just because the news has been a bit sad.
It's not as divided as people like to make it out to be. You know, you're just talking to people out in public, and it's really not that bad, honestly. People are more likely to say mean things to you over a screen, over Twitter, social media, things like that.
I've already cast my vote as an early ballot, but I feel that, especially on the voting booths, there may be some threats or some other forms of intimidation depending on where you are voting.
I see what's going on in the country. I want to be a part of the change. And so, yeah, I'm definitely going to do my part.
I hope more people vote. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today, but thank you for joining us on today's Topical Special.